Do you ever feel like you are meant for something bigger, but somehow keep delaying the journey to get there? You have dreams, big ones. You think about them all the time. How your life could change, how proud your family would be, how different everything could feel. But when it's time to take action, something stops you. You say, I will start tomorrow. But tomorrow becomes another tomorrow. This is not a story about a person who lacked ambition. This is a story about someone who had everything it takes except the habit of starting. And maybe somewhere in this story, you will find a reflection of yourself. The story of an ambitious procrastinator. Ravi was the kind of person people often admired from a distance. He carried big dreams in his heart, dreams that were larger than his circumstances, larger than his fears, and sometimes even larger than his own belief in himself. He didn't want an average life. He wanted to raise, to achieve something meaningful, to create a life that would make his family proud and give him a deep sense of purpose. Every night his mind became a stage where he saw himself succeeding, earning respect, speaking confidently, living the life he once only imagined. In the quiet moments before sleep, everything felt possible. But when morning came, reality told a different story. Each day started with the same silent promise: today I will begin. Yet, as the hours passed, that promise slowly faded. A little distraction here, a little delay there. And suddenly, that day was gone. He would tell himself, it's okay, I will start fresh tomorrow, believing that tomorrow would be different. But tomorrow came with the same pattern, the same hesitation, the same invisible weight that stopped him from taking the first step. Ravi wasn't someone who didn't care. He cared deeply. In fact, sometimes he cared too much. He wanted everything to be perfect: the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect mindset. And because nothing ever felt perfect enough, he kept waiting. Inside his mind, there was a constant battle. One voice pushed him forward, reminding him of his dreams and his potential. The other voice held him back, whispering excuses that sounded reasonable. You are not ready yet. You need more time. What if you fail? And slowly, without realizing it, Ravi began to listen more to the voice of comfort than the voice of courage. He filled his days with preparation instead of action. He watched videos, read articles, made detailed plans, and convinced himself that he was making progress. But deep down, he knew the truth. He was moving in circles. Time, however, doesn't wait for anyone. Weeks turned into months, and months quietly slipped into years. The dreams were still there, but they started to feel distant, almost like they belonged to a different version of him. There were moments when reality hit him hard, like when he saw others moving ahead, achieving things he once dreamed of. It wasn't jealousy that hurt him, it was the realization that he could have been there too. That pain stayed with him, growing slowly, reminding him that his biggest problem wasn't lack of ability but lack of consistent action. One evening, something shifted inside him. It wasn't a motivational speech or a sudden burst of inspiration. It was a quite uncomfortable truth that he could no longer ignore. He sat alone thinking about his life, and for the first time, he asked himself an honest question: if I continue like this, where will I be in 5 years? The answer scared him, not because it was unknown, but because it was predictable. He saw himself in the same place with the same excuses, carrying the same unfulfilled dreams. And that fear of staying the same became stronger than his fear of starting. The next morning didn't feel magical. There was no sudden confidence, no dramatic change, but there was a small decision. a decision to act even if it felt uncomfortable. He didn't create a perfect plan or wait for the right mood. He simply started. Just a few minutes of focused effort. It felt small, almost insignificant, but it was different from all the days he had only thought about starting. That small action gave him something he had been missing for a long time, a sense of movement. In the beginning, it was not easy. His mind resisted, old habits tried to pull him back into comfort. Some days he failed and slipped back into procrastination, but this time something was different. He didn't give up on himself. Instead of waiting for the next perfect day, he started again the very next moment he realized he had stopped. Slowly, he began to understand that discipline is not about being perfect, it's about showing up, even when you don't feel like it. As days passed, those small efforts began to build into something stronger. His confidence didn't come from motivation anymore, it came from proof. Proof that he could act despite his doubts. Proof that he could move forward even on difficult days. The gap between who he was and who he wanted to be slowly started to shrink. And for the first time, his dreams didn't feel like distant fantasies, they felt like possibilities within reach. Ravi's journey wasn't a sudden transformation. It was a slow, steady process of choosing action over delay, courage over comfort, and progress over perfection. He realized that procrastination is not just about wasting time, it's about losing pieces of your potential, one day at a time. And the only way to break free from it is not by waiting for a perfect time, but by creating momentum through small, consistent steps. In the end, Ravi didn't become successful because he was the most talented or the most intelligent. He became successful because he learned one simple but powerful lesson. Dreams don't work unless you do. And the moment you stop waiting for tomorrow and start acting today, no matter how small the step, you begin to take control of your life. So, the real question is not whether you have big dreams or not. The real question is, are you willing to act on them today, or will you keep waiting for a tomorrow that may never feel ready? At the end of it all, Ravi understood something that many people realize too late. Time doesn't wait, and neither do opportunities. The dreams he once kept postponing didn't need more planning, more thinking, or more perfect conditions. They needed action. Even the smallest step taken today was more powerful than the biggest plan delayed for tomorrow. He didn't become perfect and he didn't eliminate procrastination completely, but he learned to move forward despite it. And that made all the difference. So now the question is not about Ravi. How many times have you told yourself, I will start tomorrow, and what has it cost you so far? Think about it, because maybe the life you want is not far away. Maybe it's just waiting on the other side of one decision, the decision to start today.